Myself. My name is Beth Hatlin, and I am a national presenter as well as the co-owner of Slant System. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video today. At Slant System, we are always looking to elevate our students on that upward slant to success through giving them the gift of reading. Hence, our tagline, illuminating minds one word at a time. That moment when the light bulb goes off for our students and they begin to learn how to read. I'm a classroom teacher, reading specialist, and as well as the co-owner of Slant System. And I'm thrilled to share my experience here with you today. So Slant System is an intervention for students with dyslexia and any struggling readers. This slant system can be administered both and delivered both, here today to share a little bit more with you about what the slant system is and how the slant system can impact your schools in a positive way. After all, when that moment when the light bulb goes on for our students, illuminating minds one word at a time, teachers, you have the power to do that. Administrators, this is what we live for, we long for, are those light bulb moments for our students. And let me share how Slant System can help you with that. So the Slant System was designed for struggling readers, but it is really best practice, as we know from the science of how the brain learns how to read. It is best practice for how all students should learn how to read. The Slant System specifically as an intervention, it can be delivered with fidelity in a very flexible way, yet maintaining the integrity of the lesson that is explicit and systematic for our students. We have both a 30-minute lesson plan and a 60-minute lesson plan format. For our most intensive students, we are going to want them to be working one-on-one or in a small group for 60 minutes at the student's level with a teacher in order to see and to watch the fidelity of the program working and the growth ultimately that our students make. I am a reading specialist by trade and was a classroom teacher for over 22 years. And as a reading specialist, I was working with students for intervention, and I typically had about 30 minutes with each of my groups. And I was able to very successfully work with my students to fill those gaps in that 30-minute lesson and return many of them to the classroom. But I was also armed with a teacher with the power and the knowledge to know what to look for my struggling readers and students with dyslexia. And Slant System truly is individualized instruction. And I know so many of our schools this is so important that we are really working to individualize instruction to the needs of our students. And with Slant System, you can do that. And the predictable routine is something in which our students thrive. So again, Slant System is an intervention, but it is best practice for how all students learn how to read and how all teachers need to learn how to teach reading. So Slant System is actually an Orton-Gillingham multimodal structured literacy system. And it is accredited by the International Dyslexia Association. So as an organization, we have gone through multiple cases where we have made certain that we are aligned with the science of reading and structured literacy. Slant System is explicit, it is multimodal, it is systematic, it is sequential, it is cumulative and diagnostic, and has a predictable routine. And it is highly personalized for that individual instruction for our students. Not only for our students, but we can individualize instruction for your schools and your teachers as well through one-on-one coaching. And this is done during our practicum. The SLANT system is in-depth knowledge of how the brain learns how to read. So it is the knowledge base of the science of how we learn how to read, but it is also the intervention that can be put to use immediately with all of the tools that your teachers need to implement successfully. We are always keeping our eye on research, and we are aligned to the latest research that is out there, and we will shift if we need to based on the science of reading research out there. With the Slant system, we have a community of thousands of teachers who are here to support one another. And there is ongoing learning and support throughout training and for years to come after teachers attend our training and implement the Slant system. So, how can this set your school apart? Well, we can certify your educators in the Orton-Gillingham method. We can also provide your scholars with that really, truly individualized pathway to success through structured literacy. So, Slant system can actually be used at the core level for kindergarten, first and second grade because it can be it is developmental. It is developmentally appropriate for our students, and it can be made and individualized to meet the needs of all of our students. So really with Slant System, we are simplifying structured literacy and that intervention piece, allowing our teachers to provide Slant System support and intervention within their classrooms, within their whole group setting in that K-2 setting, but also for upper grade teachers to specialize in working with those students with dyslexia. And Slant system implementation is simple. So students are and teachers, teachers are going to assess students with our Slant system aligned phonics survey with our dedicated scope and sequence to determine where our gaps are in our students' learning. This is aligned. We have aligned connected decodable text that supports explicit instruction in certain sound symbol correspondences, language concepts, and spelling rules. And we are going to differentiate based on those students' needs. We are grouping our students according to where they fall in that phonics survey and moving them forward at a pace that is comfortable for them once they achieve mastery. Again, while the lesson is explicit and systematic, it also can be delivered with fidelity as well as some flexibility. And that is something that we train our teachers through our professional development. We start off with our assessment toolkit to get teachers going to know where to place students. This includes a survey of phonological awareness, a phonics survey, as well as a spelling survey as well, that all directly align to our scope and sequence. This phonics survey is going to be used for diagnostic purposes and to determine where to place our students within our teaching sequence. This will allow your teachers to create efficient groupings. And again, it's aligned to the connected decodable text and the Slant system scope and sequence. So speaking of decodable text, we do have blackline masters. So these blackline masters of our text are 100% decodable. So there is nothing that students have not been explicitly taught that will come up in these texts, allowing your students to be successful when they read. And so there is lots of opportunity for controlled practice and reinforcement of those skills that the teacher has explicitly taught. And in all honesty, having these tools right here in my Orton-Gillingham lesson, speaking from my teacher heart, that this really simplifies planning for teachers when they have all of the tools that they need to begin their literacy instruction. I want to just take a few moments to go through a lesson. So, within our Orton Gillingham Structured Literacy lesson plan, regardless if you are on stage 1 or stage 7, you are going to follow this same lesson plan, which is explicit and multimodal. And so we are always going to start with an oral only phonemic awareness activity. We are then going to always be reviewing concepts that have been previously taught or maybe tricky for our students. We are going to explicitly teach that new sound unit and concept. Then we have word lists, those blackline masters available for your teachers, real word lists and nonsense word lists for both reading. And then we also have those words available to use for spelling. So within your lesson, students are getting reading, decoding, and they are getting spelling. They are getting that encoding and that decoding simultaneously. The second part of our lesson is the 3-step drill. During the 3-step drill, we are going to be doing these activities where we are working to really build automaticity. So our first drill is look and say, where the teachers simply hold the card and the students see the letters and they say the sound. So they see the grapheme and they say the phoneme. And so this is building that automaticity practice. We then have an auditory drill where the teacher says a sound, the students repeat the sound, and then the students write and say it, bringing in that multimodal piece of writing and saying simultaneously. So, for example, that would look like this. If I'm the teacher, I say shh, and then the student would repeat shh, and then we would cue them, write and say it shh. What letters? And they would say SH. So always going back to that sound symbol correspondence and also bringing in the letter names during this time. And it gets really fun to watch students grow in their ability to know all of the different ways to make the long A sound. And they will learn this through their slant system practice. Then we move to what we call Martian words or our blending drill. Are they real? Are they make believe? They speaking a funny language? So students are going to build those words and pound and sound those words out. Sash, sash. So this is that interwoven practice that comes up right within a lesson. We then have the third part of a lesson where we are teaching those high frequency words, which we call gotta know words. We are teaching most of these words, which we tell our students become fully decodable once they know the rules. And you will teach all of those rules to your students along the way, your teachers will. So again, then we bring in that connected decodable text and our students have lots of time to practice reading those passages. We have fiction passages, we have nonfiction passages, we have long passages, we have shorter passages, we have comprehension and vocabulary that we embed right into our lesson when we are using our decodable text, making sure that we are meeting and talking about and making sure that we're covering all of those strands of Scarborough's reading rope. And if you don't know about Scarborough's reading rope, please come to our training. I'd love to share what that is with you. And then we also have built into our lesson spelling and context, where our students have to think about the process of writing and think about, before I write a sentence, I need to think about the words, I need to think about the sounds, I need to know how many words that is. I need to say the sounds or whisper those sounds while I am writing so that they can learn how to really do this, how to spell words and how to write with efficiency. And again, this is that embedded practice, and these activities allow for transfer into the written language, but also into reading and comprehension. So all of these components are embedded within a slant system lesson. Now, I mentioned we have that 30-minute lesson plan as well. So I just shared what the full 60-minute lesson plan would look like, but the 30-minute lesson plan, this is going to be one skill over 2 days. So it will take a little bit longer to get through the slant system scope and sequence, but it is definitely doable. And this also allows, if teachers have time, only have time for the 30-minute lesson, this also allows time to bring in and allow to see, okay, I'm using a structured literacy method. Is this working? And then you can intensify intervention as needed by moving to that 60-minute lesson. So lots of different ways to practice, lots of different ways to present Slant System to teachers and through to students through teachers. And also I say that we present it to teachers because for many teachers, they're learning something that they maybe have not been taught through their education, no matter how great their education has been. So there's always a lot of learning still to happen, and we know that as educators. So we just wanted to get briefly into some of the things that we touch on. We do integrate phonemic awareness. Very intentional phonemic awareness activities are done at the beginning of every lesson. We do this throughout our lesson. We do it orally at some points, and then sometimes we bring in those letters as well. So in an Orton Gillingham lesson, we are moving in between the oral and doing the lesson in print as well. Blending, segmenting, deleting, and substituting are phonemic awareness skills that we also get to as well. And this is something that we train our teachers how to use the word lists provided within our materials to complete these phonemic awareness activities. We also have that spelling. I touched on this before, but we have this, systematic teaching of rules and generalizations for spelling. We complete these isolation activities where we're really working on orthographically mapping those sounds. Shop, shop, shop. Students are writing and saying it. They're listening to how many sounds are in that word and really articulating those sounds. We then empower our students through putting this into practice through the sentence dictation part of our lesson. And both of these are so powerful for that transfer into authentic spelling and writing that happens within the classroom on a daily basis. In addition, morphology is built right into our lessons. So we are teaching about morphology throughout all of our stages of Slant System, and we go into great depth, especially through our advanced training course, about how morphology impacts spelling as well as vocabulary and comprehension. And teaching the meaning of words through morphology is also going to help support multilingual learners. And so morphology practice is so important. Again, thinking about how we always are wanting to enhance our written expression, we have opportunities to work on syntax and semantics and written expression by using our decodable text as a springboard for this. But also your teachers, if they attend our advanced training courses, will learn more just about how to improve written expression across the board for your students. And we know for many students that writing is one of the most challenging concepts. And bringing in as well that cup strategy, so that thinking about proofreading and that editing checklist, that is a vitally important part to our teaching of writing. And all of this is built into our training and provided through our lessons that we work on with our students. We also have opportunity for ongoing data keeping. Embedded right in our lesson plan is the opportunity to collect data for growth of students to see where they are at. What are their accuracy rates with reading real words and nonsense words, as well as spelling real words and nonsense words? That information is going to be used to drive instruction the next day. With Slant System, sorry, teachers, but you cannot write the next day's lesson until you have completed the day before. But this is by design. And I promise you, I am proof of this, having gone through this training myself, that as you become proficient at Slant System delivery, your lesson plans will become the easiest lesson planning process of your life. So We do also then have opportunities for progress monitoring and progress monitoring tools. These skills checklists are embedded in every stage of the SLANT system, and there are opportunities for you to say, yes, our students have mastered that and we are moving forward. We also have these tools for reading passages that are decodable for students to monitor that growth on a regular basis, to have that data that we know is so important to not only drive our instruction, but to share with our families the successes of our students that we are working with and of their children. And so this is the lovely Anna Gillingham, and Slant System really is all about differentiation. And this quote by her: "Go as fast as you can, but as slow as you must." And while sometimes we just want to go on to the next lesson, the next lesson, the next lesson, right, because we have to get through it, that is not always best practice for our students. And with Slant System, your teachers can really differentiate instruction to help to meet the needs of all students within their classroom, to give that personalized approach to teaching and to help all of our students be successful on their literacy journey. Bilingual learners and diversity is so important, and we have different scaffolds built in to our lessons along the way. Vocabulary development is embedded into our lessons. We encourage and teach explicitly how to bring in pictures and images to help support language development. We try to connect our students, our multilingual learners, to connections in their native language. We really dive into morphology and etymology instruction, and we help to bridge the learned skills that they have learned through their Slant System lessons into authentic text. And we always want to be working to build that oral language, and predictable routines can help this, especially for our multilingual or bilingual learners. So Slant System really is best practice for all students and how they should learn how to read. In speaking just a moment about what is involved in Slant System training, this really is a comprehensive package of training and support. So the prerequisite and to get started in Slant System, all teachers need to take is that Structured Literacy Foundations course. Those 16 to 18 hours held over multiple days, also available in a self-paced asynchronous version, is there for you and your teachers. And so this provides you with most of the materials your teachers need to get started, as well as the knowledge base on how to implement a Slant System lesson. Also included in this is the so important background knowledge of why. Why do we need to use structured literacy? Why is this good for all students? So that first initial course is going to give you everything your teachers need to get started. And then we have two certification pathways. We have advanced training classes, which is an additional 24 hours of instruction that is oftentimes held over once a month throughout for a half day once a month throughout a school year. And then there is also that practicum piece as well, where teachers are paired with a coach for those mentored observations to ensure fidelity of implementation of the Slant System. And I know at public schools, private schools, time to coach our teachers is not always there for everybody. So with the support of our team and of teachers who have been using Slant System for years and years and years, you are going to feel confident that your investment that you have made in your teachers is going to go a long way. And so not only that practicum piece, but within advanced training, you are going to be diving much deeper into all of the components that I mentioned throughout this presentation. And both advanced training and practicum are certification pathways. The advanced training, if you just take that, if your teachers just take that along with foundations, that they will become a structured literacy classroom teacher. And if they complete the practicum, they will be considered a Slant System dyslexia specialist. Something that many schools are looking to certify their teachers in, because it is such a prestigious accreditation to have that and certification to have that. Something that is truly admired by parents who are in the know. And what's best for one student is wonderful and impactful positively for so many others. So again, excuse me, again, here are those components that are going to go. So Slant System is that comprehensive training and support. So morphology, written expression, phonemic awareness, orthographic mapping, walking through all 7 stages of the Slant System, diving deeply into comprehension, fluency, vocabulary, and progress monitoring. Those are all the components that are included in the advanced training course. We do have research to support the Slant System, and this was research that was conducted over a couple years. And some of these really great findings were that that students were succeeding. I really like some of those bullet points you see there on the left, that all kindergarten students performed above the benchmark on their Ames Web oral reading fluency or initial sound that they did for the kindergarten test. And this happened after Slant System implementation. The number of students that were referred for special education assessments decreased with Slant System training. Third grade test scores for many schools improved at a higher, for the schools in a study, improved at a higher rate than the whole district's progress over 2 years. So really, there are many highlights, and you can find this study on our website. I also wanted to show just an example of a teacher that used Slant System with her entire first grade classroom. And these were on the oral reading fluency scores. And what's really exciting to see is that at the beginning of the year, most of the students were performing below that target line. And if you look at in the yellow there compared to the green, you see the significant growth. And when Slant System was implemented across the grade level, this is the data that was seen for this student. And some of the things that you may notice here is that there are a couple of students that, and actually I see those circles are in a little bit of the wrong spot, but our students that didn't quite make their goal both here and here. This was because these were students that actually did have an IEP and a diagnosis. So they still made growth though, and that is what we want to see. Again, using Slant System with fidelity, this can be supplemental to current classroom instruction for phonics, being done 20 to 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week. This can be an alternative in-class program, or it can be a pull-out program for students that are struggling with reading, 20 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a day. For our most intensive students, this would be something you would want to do 50 to 60 days a week, or minutes a day, and 4 to 5 days per week. So all of this is critically important. And Slant System can be used with fidelity at all of these different tiers. And through training, your teachers will learn how to do that. You and your teachers will learn how to do that. One of our great success stories is our collaboration with the Keith Country Day School and Dr. Andy Badu, and we have trained and certified many of the teachers at this school, and they are working to help not only the students in their school that are struggling with dyslexia, but also the children within the community that are struggling with dyslexia. And so there really is great opportunity within independent schools, private schools, as well as public schools as well, to provide some services to students that may not otherwise have access to these services by providing trained teachers. You can also find many 5-star Google reviews online on our website, so please seek that out. We are thrilled that you are here, and thank you for watching this to the end if you have. And please, again, here's just another testimony, but please feel free to find and check out our Google reviews online. And I wanted to take this moment to say thank you for watching to the end of this. And you can scan that QR code and book a meeting with one of our team members to learn how the slant system can impact your school. And I would really love if we could connect and to determine how we can make a difference in your school today. Thank you for watching, and I hope I will get to meet you online or in person one of these days soon. Thank you so much.